The next Overwatch 2 patch is going to change everything in Ranked. In this video, I'm going to cover everything that we know about it right now and give you an idea of what to expect when the patch drops. Because those that prepare the most are going to thrive the most in Ranked, and the best way to prepare is simply to get a membership at our website, GameLeap.com. We have hundreds of educational guides designed specifically to help you climb, all of which have been organized and created by some of the top coaches in all of Overwatch. So if you're looking to quickly climb up the ranks and get to that Grandmaster icon that you want so bad, be sure to come check out our website today. Going back to the future patch, however, which is currently slated to come out November 15th, we have a list of nerfs that are coming to various heroes, a lot of which are honestly some of the most oppressive in the game right now. Two major important things to note about these mid-season balance changes are, one, that they actually were not supposed to be public quite yet. They were leaked from a confidential Contenders Discord channel that the devs use to speak directly to their competitive players. Because the tournament version of the game, which is the one that the Overwatch League and the Contenders players play on, is always updated ahead of the live patch, Blizzard will typically communicate with the pros first to give them time to prep their strategy and be ready for the changes when they come. But of course, somebody ended up leaking it from this channel, and I don't know if any punitive actions were taken as a result of this, but we have them early, so here we go. Now, the four major nerfs that are coming with this patch are going to be to Sombra, Genji, Zarya, and Diva, and we'll break them down in that order one by one and go over what exactly is getting changed and what that means. So starting off with Sombra, her hack ability lockout duration has been reduced from 1.75 to 1.5 seconds. Now, people who are familiar with Sombra may understand that information just from that sentence, but I've had a few people who aren't familiar with the character ask me what that means. So at the risk of sounding a little bit verbose, I'm going to explain that more clearly, if not at more length. Basically, as soon as you hack somebody on Sombra, there is a 1.75 second duration in which they cannot use any of their abilities, including their ultimate, and sometimes other things like wall climb that don't really have an ability. And this duration is also independent of the overall hack effect, which gives the Sombra wall hacks on the target that she has hacked and gives her a 40% damage multiplier. So that reduction in duration is targeting specifically the most oppressive part of the hack, which is not being able to use your abilities. And for her second change, we have hacked enemies are no longer valid targets for hacking for the duration of the effect. This more or less is targeting again the lockout duration, because as of current patch, we have Sombras who will just keep rehacking the same target and constantly locking their abilities out every couple of seconds, which can prove very annoying to tanks, especially who need to have shields and their sustain to make up for having a massive hitbox and taking a lot of damage. In fact, a lot of the tank mains are the reason why these changes are coming to Sombra, because they've been complaining so much about being permanently hacked by an invisible target that they don't really have any counterplay to, which is, I mean, reasonable. If you've played tank, you know just how annoying Sombra is because you can't do anything to stop her, so these are welcome changes to be certain. And she has one final change, which is that her hacked damage multiplier is being reduced from 40% to 25%, meaning that she will have less ability to assassinate targets and she just won't be as high damage as she is now. This is especially going to affect her EMP, because when she EMPs, she not only takes off people's health, 40% of their health, but she also gets that damage multiplier because everyone is hacked. So as it stands right now, a skilled Sombra is generally going to get at least 1 or 2 picks from EMP, if not more. And if anything, I think this is going to make her more team reliant. Her damage isn't as strong, it's not as much of a solo effort. She's going to need her team to come in and clean up, or at least contribute to the damage that she's dealing. And honestly, this combined with the previous two changes is overall going to make Sombra significantly weaker. In fact, I think that she pretty much has no place in the meta anymore. This is like completely gutted the character, which honestly, I personally don't mind, but I can see why Sombra mains are going to be upset. I think that she just might need a rework entirely. We've tried to keep the hack ability, but every time Sombra is meta, hack is pretty much one of the most annoying abilities in the game to play against and causes a lot of frustration from the player base. But I mean, who knows? We'll see how it goes. We'll see how she gets changed in the following patches and if she gets buffed to sort of realign where she is. But for now, these are the changes that we have. And moving on to Genji, we have a lot of upset from high level players. people who are in Grandmaster Plus and pro players complaining about these changes, especially when Sojourn didn't get changed. That's kind of been the major bit that people have been talking about. For Genji, he has had his maximum ammo reduced from 30 to 24. This means that he will get 8 bursts of shurikens instead of 10. And his shuriken damage has been reduced from 29 to 27. And this is where I've always found damage numbers to be interesting in Overwatch, because even a minor change of 29 to 27 on something like each shuriken that Genji throws, it seems pretty minor. Because at 29 damage per shuriken, if you were close to a 200 health target like Sojourn and you went for a right-click headshot and you landed all 3 of your shurikens, which is common for very high-level Genjis, and then threw in a melee, it was actually enough to insta-kill the Sojourn. But with the reduction in his shuriken damage, just by 2 little damage points, he now can no longer do that. It's not exactly a breaking point for Genji that he doesn't have this one-shot combo anymore, but the fact that he has to reload more often and he has less damage over the course of a game just overall makes him slightly weaker, and it's noticeable. Even without the one-shot combo, it's definitely noticeable with the reduced damage. In any case, the pros are not very happy about it and have been saying things such as Sojourn is overtuned, nerf Genji. Kiriko is overtuned, nerf Genji. You get the idea. Our next change comes to Zarya, who's already starting to kind of fall out of the meta. She was really oppressive early on, but in any case, she has had her barrier duration reduced from 2.5 to 2 seconds, and the cooldown on it increased from 10 to 11 seconds. There isn't a whole lot to say about these changes. They're pretty self-explanatory. Zarya now has less bubbles and they last for less time, which is overall just going to reduce her bubble uptime for the duration of a game, which does have some pretty grim implications for Zarya going into the next meta, because Reaper is starting to become a very meta pick and Sojourn is of course a meta pick as well. So having less barrier uptime means that you're not going to be able to sustain against those high damage heroes for as long. And since Zarya has one of the easier headshot hitboxes in the game, she's probably not going to be able to thrive in this environment very well. And our final major hero changes come to Diva, who has had her fusion cannon spread increased from 3.5 to 3.75. And I'm not really certain on the unit of measurement for that value. Like, I don't know if that means 3.5 degrees to 3.75 degrees. They're not very specific, but it essentially means that her spread on her shotguns is going to be less accurate. It's not going to be as precise, which pretty much means that you're either going to need to be closer to the target to do the same amount of damage, or you're going to just end up being less accurate. I mean, they are shotguns, so it's not like you're not going to be doing no damage, but it just reduces the range. And the final change is probably the least important out of all of them, and that's her booster's impact damage is reduced from 25 to 15. Honestly, yeah, it was annoying that it did so much damage before, but a change of 10 to her boosters doesn't really affect any one-shot combos, and ultimately most of Diva's damage comes from her missiles and her primary fire, so I don't think that this change is going to actually change all that much. It's also important to note that this mid-season patch is not going to have the Ramatra patch or the new maps or anything like that. That is going to be the end of season / beginning of next season patch that's coming down the road. In fact, it's actually been slated for December 6th according to Blizzard, so be sure to keep up with this channel where I will update you when we have more information on that. We have a little bit now, but I'm waiting to hear more from the devs about the new map and that kind of thing, and you can bet that patch day I will be making a video on that here at GameLeap. In any case, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget once more to check out our website. Until next time, take care and peace.